I'm Anil Philip, and I want to answer some of your questions you submitted. Unfortunately, I'm getting over a throat sinus infection, and so my voice is shaky and cuts in and out. Uh, our, I wanted to address some issues that you may not have come across in your class. I'm sorry if it comes across as negative. These are just as my personal opinions. Of our former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao said that India where Indians were individually talented but undisciplined, and so India as a nation was almost ungovernable. He said that it caused him great surprise whenever he thought about it. Many of you, at least a few of you, probably have the slumdog millionaire stereotype in mind. The good victim struggles against the set of bad guys and overcomes against all odds. It makes a great movie, and it is the American dream, but the reality of India is different. There are no innocent good guys being exploited by bad guys. In fact, in many cases, if you look deeper, you will see the evil is within. To take an example, when dowry deaths occur, by the way, for those who don't know the term dowry death, uh, there have been mm, a lot of there have been over the past few decades and even nowadays a lot of young women, young brides being killed, uh, who are found dead because they did not bring sufficient dowry. In traditional India, when a woman gets married, her parents give her inheritance in the form of land, jewelry, money as her dowry to the husband's side. So in many cases, um, you know the these when these brides do not bring enough money, then the boys' side they harass her for money up to the point when she commits suicide, or they literally burn her to death. She's cooking at the kerosene stove, and next minute she's in the hospital. She's dying of burns, and the kerosene stove suddenly spontaneously caught fire, and caught her sari on fire, and she was dying. But when the police investigate, often they find that it's the mother-in-law who is the villain in the story. The mother-in-law is often angry that she sold her beloved son for less than he was worth. So the point I'm saying is the evil is within. It's not you know the good guys overcoming against being oppressed by the bad guys. When you visit India as a American or a white man, unless you are being cheated, you are well treated as a superior person, as being a superior person, and you may be flattered and really happy. But open your eyes to see how people treat each other or people lower than themselves. That is the real indicator. So you should open your eyes to see how they treat each other or people lower than themselves. That is the real indicator. For example, even in America, if you've observed, at least in my experience, I've seen that Indians do not marry black Americans, they do not mingle with Hispanics, and unfortunately, they often despise American culture, and they seem to be here for the money and the comfort. Another problem in India is corruption. India, this if you this leads to the country as a whole being very poor. You find these vast differences of the rich and the poor, and a lot of it is laid at the feet of corruption. Corruption is due to clannishness and selfishness. In Africa, there was a study done of African countries, why Africa as a country, as a continent, is so rich in terms of mineral and natural wealth, but it's so poor. And what they concluded was the corruption was due to clannishness and tribalism. And I think in India it's no different. The caste system is another problem in India. It is racism within a race. It has little to do with occupation. Nowadays, with government affirmative action programs, uh, the lower castes occupy good positions in society, but it is more ranking. So it has little to do with it has little to do with occupation, but it is ranking or assigning worth or value to a person based on their ancestry. It's a tribal thing. So this differs. This is this is in contrast with the American notion that God made all men equal. So, for example, these two things can lead to corruption on a major scale. Say, for example, in a company, say the Thakur class or caste, or they may occupy a key position in a government, state-run company, and so he recruits people only from his clan. Now, when people come to the government department to get a permit or get their regular work done, they have to bribe to get even the to get normal things done, not anything dishonest, but anything normal like a phone connection or a or to get some kind of government approval or permit. You have to bribe to get anything done. This money, this bribe that is given to maybe the lower level official, is shared with officials all up and down the ladder. In America, the notion of a clan is not there or is very weak. It's you could say it's roughly like the old boys club. So in Indian society, there's the notion of lower, higher, or looking up, looking down. When two Indians meet, whether it's in India or even in America, they ask each other a complex set. They ask each other a number of questions. What's your family name? Where are you from? Which village are you from? What language do you speak at home? Where did you study? It's there's a complex calculation going on to assign to the other person a value, to say that, so that I will know, should I look up to him or should I look down to him? Am I higher up or lower than him? In a you know when two Americans meet, they seem to just want to know, okay, does he make more money than I? And once that's settled, then they treat each other as equals. They try to find something in common. Oh, we love the Chiefs or the Jayhawks. And in India, there's a lot of oppression of the weaker and defenseless classes, the lower castes, women and children. So that's just my introduction, and let's move on to the questions. There's a question by Patrick Vientos. What did you expect when you arrived in America? I frankly don't remember what I expected. I expected it to be like Time Magazine or National Geographic or Reader's Digest, which I used to read in throughout school and college. I did not, but here are some things that I did not expect that have stuck in my mind. I did not expect to see no mud or little mud. To see the ground covered by either grass or concrete. That was very surprising. There's no dust. The concept of dust. And I didn't expect to see people driving so much. They don't walk much. So and that's quite rare. In fact, even in Western countries in Europe, they walk a lot more. And I didn't expect to see the bias in the news media. I grew up, listening to the BBC, and I read Time magazine, and I presumed that they were unbiased and just, strictly opinion did not belong in the news. But I did not. After I come here, I see there's a bias, a left-right wing bias, and the another thing is, there's so much individualism in America, which was surprising.